White roofs or light colorful roofs will help with energy efficiency. Solar panels should be used as an alternative energy source. Sensor-based lighting should be used in all facilities, which can cut down energy costs on lighting areas that need not be lit at certain times of the day. A 100% efficient lighting plan is being recommended. Publix can also implement the CFL, which are compact fluorescent lamps, which are less expensive and produce a wider range of lighting. Management should start considering rechecking and analyzing their stores in order to apply metal halide. These halide lamps can produce a high light and illumination for their size. This will help improve lighting quality and generate up to 50% lighting energy reduction over the older technology. Instead of using a rolling steel overhead door in the loading bay, which represents a huge cost for Publix in terms of heating and cooling, Publix can use doors that remain open while being used and close after the unloading of trucks. We also recommend recycling. Recycling rate for Publix company-wide is at about 45%. The recommendation that we suggest Publix use is to start working on raising that number every year. By saving over 50% instead of 45%, they would have saved more energy and over 700,000 barrels of oil per year. Publix needs to find out if their customers are actively involved in environmental concerns by conducting customer surveys. This can be done face-to-face, over the phone, or electronically. Publix should have in place any kind of incentives to give to customers after taking such surveys. In Publix distribution centers, reducing the number of washes and recapturing and using recycled water can reduce energy needs. They should put in place a water saving project. Using rainwater is an additional option that Publix should look into. Publix should start recycling more, from any floral buckets to all plastic bags that are left out at the end of the business day. By recycling them instead of just tossing them away, the company will save on disposal fees and landfill
I'm going to be
space.
discussing the 30 tips for environmental and sustainable management. Pretty much the first point of the article is to create a green team culture. This part of the culture includes working towards an ISO 14,000 environmental friendly compliance, which involves creating environmental policy manuals and procedures. You can also schedule projects appropriately and have enough employees so that overtime and energy consumption is reduced. Another tip would be to include risk management evaluation, plans of actions, and vendor RFPs. Another tip would be to minimize paper usage by submitting paper working digitally. The second phase would be to reduce material and energy used by the company, which includes consolidating multi-functional devices to reduce energy consumption, to include water coolers, which reduce plastic usage, to use digital storage devices rather than CDs for archiving files. These would hold much more information and use less manufactured material. Another tip would be to make digital in PowerPoint and distribute files rather than bound reports. Another tip would include use rechargeable devices on battery power. Companies can also email rather than fax information. Last but not least, reuse and recycle any materials and papers. Repurpose unused printouts for note sheets. Purchase recycled content. They can also ask employees to bring in their own ceramic or insulated coffee and mugs and drinking cups, as opposed to using paper or plastic. Inquire about cartridge recycling. There are many programs that require rewards for this. Do not use computers to schools, charities, and public service agencies. And then these are many options that companies can use to become more environmentally friendly. It is a start, but does not end here. Companies should be green as a constant priority to sustain the world's longevity.
Okay, now that we've given our recommendations, I know you guys are wondering how much is this going to cost. For the changes that we recommended for material and storage, a new inventory system is needed. That would be about $10,000. Also, we would need an inventory manager that needs to be aware of the system to deter products from being shipped when they are not needed. Also, a manager will be forecasting waste by keeping a log and making sure goods are not being wasted. This will actually be no cost to the company because the job will be incorporated into the manager. Next, The resources for transportation would be to purchase fuel-efficient trucks and vehicles. This cost will be approximately $11,000 to $22,000 per vehicle, depending on the size and whether it's a car or a truck. Also, the carpool initiative, we recommend to be implemented by the HR department, which would also be no cost. Redesigning the facilities. Energy efficient windows are approximately $5,000 per store. The solar panels are $16,000 per store. Sensor-based lighting is $8,000 per store, and new loading doors will be $2,000 per store. For recycling, customer surveys would be needed and someone to collect the data. That would be approximately $1,000 per store. Also recycle bins for customers to drop and a drop-off area, and which would be no cost because Publix can team up with local recycling organizations and they can set up recycling center to be responsible for collecting the donations. Also, the water management team to limit and reduce water usage. That would be $5,000 yearly added to the salary of a manager. Also, shipping and packaging. Buildings for distribution centers. That's about $100,000 per building. Contact with local suppliers would be at no cost, and a new bottle designer for the plastic bottles would be $20,000.
By buying from local suppliers, Publix can reduce its cost of transportation, but they lose some of the benefits such as the cheap labor, like as in Mexico, where cucumbers cost only $3.92 to make, and in the United States it costs about $8.56. In transportation, the Publix can help meet its quota for the EPAC, the Energy Policy Act, by switching over to biodiesel. The fuel, however, does cost 20 cents more than diesel alone. In redesigning the facilities, it does not cost Publix to redesign the new architectural type of buildings, but they will need a more efficient HVAC system in order to compensate for the extra windows that will be installed. Also, by installing CFL light bulbs, the average light bulb's life is 8 to 10 times longer than that of traditional light bulbs, saving Publix in the end a lot in the electricity bill. Also, solar panels, their installation can cost between $300 to $600 depending on its size. In material storage, Publix can introduce an automatic store replenishment system, and it can cost about $10,000 per store.
Costs and benefits of implementing the green plan. Recycling as a retail sector, supermarkets operate on a very slim profit margin. And as mentioned, waste disposal represents a significant and growing business cost for the supermarket industry. There's between 75 and 85% of the waste generated is compostable or recyclable. Typically, a 55,000 square foot supermarket with a full range of perishables will spend at least $3,000 a month for waste disposal. This is also due to the increase in fuel charges. The expected problems that will arise. The material storage. The expected problems for this recommendation is proper training, human error, and downtime. Publix will have to train their employees on how to use the replenishment system and how to prevent human errors such as improper data input. Publix will also be experiencing downtime when installing the new machines and managing existing inventory and training their employees. Another issue is transportation. Publix may encounter some difficulties in establishing efficient route calculations due to road closures, store and center locations, and errors in calculations. Carpooling problems may include absenteeism due to an employee calling in sick, or car repair, tardiness, etc. because one person is late, and employee conflict due to inconveniences caused by each other.
The cost of implementing the change will force prices to rise. The only way to justify the changes to the public is to make them aware of the changes and explain why they are worth paying more to come to Publix with the competitors. Proper management of the changes should be ensured, and employees should be properly trained for the new work environment. The green plan proposed by Green Advice firm will help Publix to quickly and effectively elevate its business from good to green. So we are very pleased that we come here to offer you that proposed plan. So we wish you good luck.